Hello and welcome to the 23rd episode of SaintsPrime Podcast with me, Ollie.
Harry.
Mikey.
Oh,
Okay, boy. What are the events like it is today?
how's it going?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
It's just only in uni 12 till 11 on Thursday, so it's brilliant.
12 to 11.
12 to 11, you go.
That's a long
9 to
day.
11. 9
That's
to
a
11.
long
Sorry.
day you've
Yeah,
got
it's a
there.
long day to be fair.
9, 11.
23 hours.
7.
God, that is horrible. Alright, so go into questions like normal.
So it's a triple header from Dan Hurst, 96. First one said, love the podcast. Listen to it every Friday on my way home. Keep it up, guys. With three of those emojis. If you're watching on the YouTube,
Mate,
3 of those.
Do you want
That's
to
nice.
describe the
Legend.
emojis for the people that aren't watching, or
It's an
I'm-
okay
I'm-
sign. Okay sign.
It's like a solid. That's a
Okay.
solid.
Or like a,
podcast.
yeah, brilliant.
Number 2 from Dan Hurst at 96. Name one of our current players who get into a top 6 team if there are any at all.
Here,
Should we go-
Weber.
Should we
No,
go
I don't
for
think
like
he would.
should we go for the stereotypical top 6 rather than like the actual top 6 at the moment? Because otherwise
okay.
it'll probably be easy. So, is
Uh,
there anyone in our team that you think could
Not
even
really.
get close,
Not
or even
currently.
on the bench?
Possibly Redmond, but I don't think Højbjerg,
No.
apart from Saints fans, I think people actually looking at him probably don't see that much in him. Because, yeah, he's quite young and he's quite, shows good characteristics. I don't actually think
Thing
he's
is-
got enough quality to get into the top 6.
United looking for a striker, and our Danny Ings is bang on form right now. So
Yeah, but he's quite injury prone.
£80 million bid in the January.
let's
transfer.
go.
He might,
boys.
to be fair, he might get in the 18-man squad, but I don't think he'd start.
No,
I mean,
No.
Ings proved it at Liverpool where he got. into
no, I
the-
think the only person I could think of was Redmond because I think Pep saw something in him, and I think if he has another decent season, they could attract some interest. But
But that, what does
But-
he add to one of the top 6 teams? Because they already.
well, I
apart
don't
from
know. I'm just
Manchester
picking.
United,
I'm just
maybe.
picking the best player who's most likely to go, and he said if there's any, and I probably don't think there is any, but because we are in a kind of relegation area in the last 2 or 3 seasons, so I'd think Redmond is probably the closest we've got. I don't know who else you'd kind of think of.
I'm not sure because you look at that Manchester United midfield and you see McTominay and Fred are the consistent starters, and you think surely on a good day, what like Højbjerg could probably outmuscle one of them in the starting 11.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but you could probably
I'd
say that with
say-
a lot of teams down the league, couldn't you?
Yeah, but this is about Southampton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't know. Do you think? I don't know. Like, especially with the start Højbjerg's had, do you think he would definitely add something to that midfield? Do you
I'm not sure.
think
It's
he?
just a talking point. Like
Yeah,
I think
Mikey,
he does
you
have
don't
that
think-
sort
do you
of
reckon
quality because the Fred doesn't seem to really have any sort of role as a midfielder, as in like you can't clearly see what his job is in the midfield, whereas Højbjerg has that clear, that sort of clear quality, and I think he might, but like you said, it's a hesitant yes he would rather than a yes it's certainly one of our players to get into one of the top 6 teams.
I would say Romeo's got a better chance of getting. into
Yeah,
the top 6
I
than
think if we're talking
Højbjerg.
about centre midfielders, I think Romeo is probably higher than Højbjerg.
Give me a sec.
Do,
Oh,
All right, solid. Do you think?
Mikey's gone
All
already.
right, what's Mikey's gone? Do you think?
Yeah.
The thing is with Romeu, in the top 6 teams, they like having dynamic players that can do more than just one job. Do you think they'd be okay with Romeu because he's kind of like a one-job
is,
brute
if
that's
we're getting
just
this
a
guy here-
defensive midfielder?
played for Barcelona, Southampton, and Chelsea. He is an experienced player. I
2
think
of the
he's
3
easily-
best teams in world football.
Exactly. I think he could fit into a team. He's shown
Yeah.
his class, evidently, to play for Barcelona and Chelsea, and Southampton is a higher team out of them all. I think, he
Yeah.
could fit into it.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know if there's.
You seem to be laughing there, are we?
Wait.
Is my point not valid?
No,
Who
no,
cares?
it's not you. It's not you at all. I don't know. I just feel like probably Redmond and Højbjerg are our 2 highest assets at the moment, but
Mhm.
I don't really think either of them are kind of that wanted by the top 6 because I don't know the reason players have been bought from Saints is because they're young and they show promise, and they're proven in the Premier League. That's why they go for such high figures. But has Redmond and Højbjerg both really proved themselves in the Premier League? I don't think they quite have yet. Redmond's definitely nearing there, but the reason our players went for so much previously is because they proved themselves as Premier League quality, whereas sometimes it doesn't really look like it's there.
So I'll change the question up a bit. Do you think any of our players have the potential to be top 6 candidates?
Yeah, definitely. But
which ones are they then? Which ones are they?
If Valerie kicks on well, you think he, near the end of the season, scoring goals, assists, you could see it coming back into the game. He did a brilliant assist for Danny Ings. You think if he definitely kicks on, that is top 6 potential. But
I definitely think Dan's a bit more time in the Premier League could be a top quality defender.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that because I haven't seen we haven't seen.
I've only seen him play at left back once, so
I've seen him play for Austria in these 5-1 against England. So.
Yeah, that's proper top quality.
That's proper. There you go.
You've really backed yourself up there, mate.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point there, boys. I was watching the highlights on the England YouTube channel, and there's quite a lot of comments saying how Dante had a good game despite who he was playing with and how he can tell he's a future talent.
Okay.
We had someone at the game, Harry. Would you back that up as well?
Oh yeah.
Well, they lost 5-1, so it's kind of difficult to say. But I wouldn't say that any of the goals was his fault. Sort of like, even though he's the captain of Austria and he's one of their key players, like it's difficult to say because there wasn't a lot of quality around him. Right. He had a good few passes, drove with the ball well from defence, and he had that sort of Romeo quality. Whereas if he couldn't win the ball legally, he would just body check one of the players to get it, which is but like I said, he's a quick defender as well from what I've seen. And when you're up against Eddie and Nketiah, Hudson-Odoi, Phil Foden, and then you still look quick, then he does have a bit of speed about him, so he's got that potential. It's just,
was he exciting to watch?
It's hard to say about a centre back being excited to watch. So I obviously kept a close eye on him because he was the one player that I was really interested in because he's a Southampton player at the moment. But if he was in the England team, which weirdly enough he wasn't, it'd have been a lot more interesting to see his quality because he would have had a better centre back partnership next to him. Maybe he'd have had a more complete performance. So it's more difficult when there's just floods and floods of English attacks, and so it's sort of difficult to say.
Who was in defence for England?
England's defence, I believe, was Max Aarons. Left back, I can't quite remember who was at left back. It's completely gone over my head.
Who did Max Aarons play for?
Norwich. I think he originally was from Milton Keynes Dons. I might be wrong.
Milton Keynes Dons.
Because he was on the front cover. He's from Milton Keynes.
Right. Should we get it back on track?
Yeah. Sorry, it's just completely. I don't know what.
Okay, right. Should we go to another question? Are you guys happy with that?
Yeah, I have a question. I think the question never got answered in its fullest. All right. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure. And the other one, and I think this applies to Mikey especially. He said, use Che Adams in your FIFA Ultimate team. He's amazing.
Really?
Apparently. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Why does that apply to me?
Because you
like building Saints teams,
Southampton teams on your.
So apparently it's quite good
on your FIFA account. So remember that one as well.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Shame he's not like that in real life.
Let's not answer another question about Che Adams.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're here for ages. Okay. Right, that's all the questions. What do you want to move on to first? We covered the previous game last week. Should we cover the Wolves game this week?
Yeah, go straight into the Wolves game because we kind of talked about games played last week. So yeah, we'll just go straight for the Wolves game. What do you expect with the international break? Obviously, a lot of players stayed with Southampton, didn't go out on international duty. What do you expect Ralph did with that time?
I'm iffy about this game, to be honest with you. I'm not very confident, but I'm either scared at the same time.
Right.
Fantastic.
So I feel Cedric and
Gnabry
out. I think them two are quite strong players for us. It's a bit worrying for me. We kind of struggled without them.
Yeah.
And Valerie coming back into the team. Yes, he got an assist.
Mm-hmm.
That's Chelsea, but he keeps highlighting that on his Instagram for some weird reason. We lost 3-1. what you hyping yourself up for.
4-1.
4-1.
You turn the game off by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, I think Valerie's a bit rusty, especially against a very attacking Wolves side.
Mm-hmm.
So it could go either one or two ways. We could get a good game or we get destroyed.
Yeah. I'm quite confident about the game. I mean, I think Wolves are quite a strange side where last year they played well against the top 6 and then were kind of iffy against the lower teams. Now, this season, I haven't really seen a trend in their play. It seems like they haven't got as many goals as they did last season. I remember they had a lot of goals coming from their wing-backs and their striker, Jimenez. So, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what it'd be like. I know they've still got a leaky defence, and that's an issue for them. I also think an international break probably would have helped because I think we definitely play better when we've got a defined game plan, which I think Ralph will definitely try and work on in the 2 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see that come into play.
Michael?
Wolves are quite a counter-attacking team, aren't they? They sit back a lot and then they'll try and give you on the break. That's the only worrying thing. It's weird because if we start with a 3 or a 4, I don't think we'll be solid either way. Because our wing backs get pushed up very high. If we have 3 at the back, we should be okay. If we start 4, then I think we've got a problem. Because it showed against. I know Man City's defence right now aren't great, but they're probably better than most defences in the league, and they still got broken down twice by Wolves. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
But we have been quite good away from home this season, haven't we? Partly because you don't have the toxic St Mary's fans there, but I think we are quite good away from home. I saw a stat which was quite interesting. I'll see if I can find it. Whereabouts it's just saying that Southampton have won a league high 86% of their Premier League points this season on the road. So hopefully we should try and carry that on, which is quite an interesting stat. I didn't realise we were actually doing that quite well away from home.
Do you think that's more down to the fact that we've been playing better sides at home rather than away, or do you think that's because we're better just at playing away from home than we are?
I think we're better playing away from home. I think we have played good sides at home, but I also think away from home it gives you a chance. The home team is expected to dominate possession, and our system is obviously to counter possession-based football and to break quickly. Playing away gives us that chance, and I think our style of football suits playing away from home.
I think also at home we've definitely played better this season at the start of the year against the bigger teams. I've only just lost to Liverpool. We drew against United. Yeah, we got battered against Chelsea, but we could have got back in the game before the third one, just before half time, which killed it. So it's not like we've played poorly at home. We just haven't got the results because of the quality of team we have played. Yeah,
it's true. The only slight thing that worries me is that it seems like both Wolves and us have a counter-attacking style football, and I don't know whether that will cause for a exciting match or a kind of nullified match where both teams are waiting for that counter-attack and it's kind of a scrappy-based game. I'm not quite sure what might happen, but I could see that could be a possibility.
I can see it turning into very much like Sheffield United, where it will just be one moment of quality. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll change.
And just game. Waiting for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So, do you think we will start with that 4, or do you think we'll start with 5?
I think we'll start with a 5. I think just because we want to kind of keep. I think one of the things I was listening to Ralph's press conference this morning, and he was saying that they've been working on solidifying in defence and kind of tracking back and regaining position much quicker than they did against Chelsea, because obviously we got punished quite quickly in transition against Chelsea. They also had quite fast players who could break us down. So I think Ralph definitely wanted to sort that issue out of being exposed at the back. So a 5 gives you 3 centre backs covering, and the 2 wingers hopefully are probably 2 most attacking wingers in Valerie and Bertrand, and hopefully should give that kind of cover that we need, but also a bit of width, because I think the 4-2-2, funnily enough, I don't think you get enough width from that formation, whereas hopefully you've got 2 wing backs that can provide some space down the wire, down the sides, and try and just a different game plan. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
And with a dodgy sort of performance defensively against Chelsea, what 3 centre-backs are you expecting to start? Do you think Dancer will come in? Do you think anyone will be dropped? Or do you think it'll just... What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to be changed?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure. I think... I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Yoshida, Bednarak, Vestergaard, because Vestergaard gives you that bit of height. But I would quite like to see Danso, because it seems like we've tried all our combinations now, and none of them have particularly... I haven't really highlighted them as particularly effective, because I thought Yoshida Bednarak was our strongest, and then we end up conceding 4 to Chelsea. So I know some of the goals were quite difficult and may not have represented how we played, but I still think we haven't quite found the winning formula yet. I don't know about you. I thought they were our strongest, but maybe it's time to experiment. I'm not sure.
So a recent statistic came out on Who Scored saying that Jan Bednarek's done I think it's a European high 3 mistakes leading to goals. Yeah, he doesn't get criticised anywhere near as Vestergaard or any of our other players. Why do you think that is?
I think fans like him. They have a maybe it's. To be honest, I'm not quite sure. I think there's a lot of players that unnecessarily get stick and some that get praised. I think Højbjerg and Bednarak both fall into that category of, because they endear themselves to the fans, they get a lot more chances, and I think it's quite unfair on some of the players that don't get those second chances from the fans. And I think, it's not like players can't sense that hostility to them, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't know if you guys have any ideas what it is.
It's because Højbjerg was the one that when under Pellegrino, when things were looking bad, he was the one who was stepping up and speaking out. Like, he was probably the only player giving the fans answers for the reason why they were playing in that way and what was going to change. That's why people like Højbjerg, because of the passion. I think they like Bednarak because when he just sort of, the 2 times that he's been out the team and then has stepped in, he's played really well.
Yeah. So
like when he got dropped when Hughes first started playing him when Pellegrino went, he played really well, and then he got dropped under Hughes, and when Ralph came in, he started playing well again.
That second half of the season, and I know he had a load of vital blocks and things like that near the end of the season. But I know you'll like me mention this, Mikey. Shane Long had quite a good end to the season as well, but people will happily forget that and still remember Bednarak's great performances, whereas it's strange how some things stick in fans' minds, but
people are now questioning whether Stuart Armstrong's good enough to play in the squad when at the start under Hughes he was the only one actually looking like he could play in the squad. So it is quite funny how fans just seem to like forgetting about some players, but other players, if they're playing poorly, you just got to keep them in there.
I think fans just like the change as well. They like to see new players come in and things like that. And it would rather have that element of surprise, even though it could just collapse. And I think they just kind of want to see different things, maybe keep them entertained because the results aren't coming in. They want to see things being changed. But I think you've got to trust the manager, because although even at his worst patch, he sees them 5 times a week, and I'm sure he can judge his players much better than we can, watching it in front of us for 1 day a week.
So do you think
the rotation? It's a solid squad. It needs to be a solid team he puts out week in, week out, and we actually start playing well. They have that connection together.
Okay.
That's what I'm up to.
So if you want that solid squad, would you want to see Danso come in, or would you want to see the 2 centre-backs stay how they did against Chelsea?
That's the tough thing. So I like how Yoshida's playing. So I personally think we should play Yoshida, Bednarak, and Danso. Then eventually replace Yoshida with Vestergaard as a back 3 to go on within the future.
Okay. So you want to try and keep that pair in between Yoshida and Bednarak then in the Wolves game? Yeah.
I prefer to see... I love Yoshida, but I prefer to see him dropped instead. Because if you Danzo's been brought in as a Yoshida replacement, he's not been brought in to replace Vestergaard, because they're 2 completely different centre-backs. So I prefer to see Danso as the covering, and then Vestergaard and Bednarak as the 2 that go on. Yeah,
I think those are our 3 most promising centre-backs, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the partnership that we should be developing for the next 5 years.
Definitely. Yeah, I think so. Harry, any thoughts?
Yeah, so a couple of things. With what we were going about earlier, talking about how fans don't like certain players, do you think certain fans have an agenda against certain players, even if it's just a subconscious agenda? Because you see players like Vestergaard and Shane Long get so much stick, even if they've had a great performance the last week, they don't get any leeway the next, for example, even if they didn't play that badly the next week. Whereas you see, obviously, Bednarek getting quite a bit of, not getting any stick, and he's made a couple of mistakes. Same with Højbjerg. Do you think there's a clear agenda against some players?
I think it's repeat offences, I think, can sometimes stick in fans' minds. Once they get in the idea that Shane Long is sometimes not very clinical in front of goal, or Vestergaard.
It's not sometimes, it's...
Yeah. But you know what I mean? If there's something that can clearly stick in their mind, to be honest, I think with Vestergaard, it's just being kind of uncomfortable around the back sometimes. He looks a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights sometimes when he's not very comfortable on the ball. So maybe that sticks in fans' minds. But I don't think it's anything specific. And I think it works the other ways around. I think creative players and passionate players get a lot more chances because fans like to see that. And, those qualities can stick in the fans' minds despite their performances. I think Højbjerg's had a very average start to the season, but I think he's given that chance because, like Mikey said, he shows that passion to the fans, and that kind of redeems it for him sometimes.
And with Jamie, you said about the squad rotation. Do you think Ralph does it because it's sort of panic rotation because we keep losing games, and he's panicking and making rotations for that reason, or do you think do you think there's a different reason for it?
I see where you're coming from with this whole panic situation, because I see lots of managers do it when they're in a bad run of form. But it's just ever since he came in, we never had a set lineup, which I think is what is needed for us. That's why we're having these dodgy. I'll play well this week, don't play well the next week. But it's just like that's what it is. He panics. Oh, this isn't working for one game. I think, get rid of them right now. Let them play again next week to see if they improve from those mistakes. So you hear these players chat and say, after my game, I like to look at where I went wrong, how I can fix that. If he's not given them the opportunity to fix it, how are they going to improve if they're on the bench the whole time? They have one chance, they make one mistake and they're gone.
So would you field a similar team to what we did against Chelsea then?
Not necessarily, as there clearly were some mistakes there, hence the 4-1. However, I would probably change. I would probably get rid of Yoshida just so we can have that solid centre-back partnership and they keep working together.
So where would you change it to get that balance between what you said, learning from the mistakes, but still having a solid lineup?
It's basically what Mikey said, really. Put in Dancer as the covering and let Bednarek and Vestergaard go up the field a bit more. Just let them have that initial bonding so they can play together for the next 5 years.
Okay, so kind of transitioning into the team we want to see against Wolves. Where would players be coming out to have that extra centre back?
I don't know. I'd probably pull out a midfielder just so we can where we have these two centre backs going up anyway. We don't really necessarily need them. So that's probably what I'd probably change out. I don't know. I'd probably take out Ward-Prowse and have Højbjerg and Romeo.
All right.
Then probably have.
Are you putting 3 up front then? Because I think we could work with 2. I'd quite like to see Che Adams come back in because I think he'd give a little bit of physicality to the side. So if you could maybe put 3 up front, and you could have Adams. 2
strikers and 1 attacking.
Yeah, I think that's what I would want to see. Maybe Adams and Ings up front, and then you can have 3 in midfield. I know he likes Højbjerg, Romeo, Ward-Prowse, so you could have those 3 in midfield. Personally, I think that would probably be the best balance of keeping the team while changing it. Redmond.
Playing Buffal and Cam, and having Redmond and Danny Ings up front.
Okay.
Let's just try it out.
So Ward-Prowse would be coming out then?
Yeah, he's not really done much so far. He's had his chances. I don't know, I love James Ward-Prowse, but I think you can see where I'm coming from.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about Redmond up front? Do you reckon that system works, or
no?
Do you reckon it doesn't really work?
I don't
think it works.
Try.
No. Because I think
tried it before and it's not worked.
I think Redmond is someone we have to have in the team because he does definitely give us something against oppositions. But I don't know whether that striker position really works for him.
Redmond works well when he has the ball at his feet. and he can actually influence games. Redmond does not work well when he has to run off the shoulder of a striker and get in behind somewhere. I don't think I've ever seen Nathan Redmond try and run in behind the defence apart from the last time that we played against Wolves.
Yeah.
So,
perfect time to try it.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. All right, carry on. So yeah, we've gone for. So what would you suggest then, Mikey? If you're not going to have Redmond up front, where would you get him in the team? Because I think he is playing. Okay, so what formation would you rather see then?
Just 5-2-3.
5-2-3. Okay.
Play what we played at the end of last season because it was working.
Okay. 5-2. Right. So yeah.
I'm sorry. Was that a bit too blunt? Was it? I'm sorry. I'm not making
no. I was looking at Jamie's camera and he was just posing. I wasn't laughing at you.
I was looking for a little bit for you to expand on that, like instead of just blunt yes or no.
I was laughing at a different thing.
Okay.
I was
carry on.
laughing at Jamie.
You're saying you've got 3 up front, so I'm guessing you've got Redmond on the right. Who's playing left mid?
I'll play Redmond on the left, Boufal on the right, and then play Ings down the middle.
Ings down the middle, and then you've got 2 in midfield, Romeo Højbjerg.
The problem is, I would like to see. I know Romeo's played really well at the start of the season, but I'd like to see what Højbjerg and Ward-Prowse could do in the midfield just on their own. Or maybe like Højbjerg could be the destroyer because Højbjerg's he's very giddy when he gets on the ball. He's not very calm,
technical
is he?
Time.
Yeah, there you go, technical. He's quite giddy on the ball, and I don't know if he's like very composed. So maybe him as like a sort of creative, ball winner, like having him in the middle, and then having Ward-Prowse as like a box-to-box midfielder. Try and play that way.
Yeah.
Because Romeo's great for breaking up play, but when you're actually trying to create something, he doesn't have a lot with him. Yeah. So against the top sides where we are going to not be dominating possession, Romeo's great, but maybe if we are trying to dominate possession, maybe take Romeo out and just leave that as a 2 and maybe put Boufal in there or Shea Adams in there to add a bit more creativity or like forward thinking.
Okay. Yeah. It's not a bad idea. I get what you're saying. I guess with that 2 in midfield, it kind of highlights that performances, and then you kind of need the best you can, can't you?
Yeah.
You need someone who's obviously going to be comfortable on the ball. But I also think Romeo does give you, defensively, he really works well with the press, because I think if that's what we're trying to implement and build on that tactic, I think he does that really well. It's obviously built into him, and that pressing where he closes down quickly. And when we weren't playing that pressing style, I think he got highlighted because no one would press as aggressively as he does. You see him, he almost jumps at the player, doesn't he? Kind of really closes all the angles. And if you've got people pressing as much as him at the same time, it does mean you can win that ball back. And I think he just works in Raul's system. I think that's why he's been chosen to play in those positions and has been playing well so far. So I think it'd be a shame to miss him out, but I understand if we are going to put 5 at the back. I don't think dropping him. I don't think we will drop him for Wolves, and I would argue that it's probably not the right thing to do to drop him for Wolves because he is our most informed midfielder at the moment. But I am just interested to see how the midfield would cope without Romeo in there. Yeah, it'd just be something maybe in a cup game to experiment, or possibly, towards the end of the season we'll have a look at that. But yeah, I just find it interesting to see how we would cope. Well, the Man City game is 2 weeks time.
Yeah,
possibly.
29th of October.
If you think the Man City game, you'll be playing still against very good opposition. I'm sure they'll rotate a little bit.
They'll play their third team and still.
But what you could do in that game is you can try a different tactic with still a pretty much full strength side, but just try them in a different way. So if you do want to take Romeo out and test Ward-Prowse as a defensive midfielder, I think it'd be interesting to see, because we want to try and get the most out of him. And the way he's been playing at the start of the season, I don't think he's been effective. So if you do try him out in the Man City game, and it is starting to work, then possibly you can use that to the next part of the season. But I don't know if Wolves is the correct game to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Very insightful.
Okay. Anything else to add on the Wolves game? What do you reckon the game will go like?
Let's not lose. That's my word of wisdom.
Prefer not to lose, especially with the 3-hour round trip.
What would you be happy with? What do you reckon is going to happen, and what do you reckon the result's going to be?
Hey, Mikey, did you mention you're going? You didn't mention the fact you're going to the game.
And Harry, we're both going, aren't we?
Yeah.
We can have our correspondence going.
Match day vlog, am I right, boys?
No.
It depends if Adama Traore builds on his positive performance against Manchester City. If he takes it in strides and has another good performance, it's going to be very concerning, especially because if they go on the break, I can see them getting Ray booked in the first 20 minutes for taking him out, and then Romeo's done for the whole game in terms of his effectiveness. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I got you. So what do you reckon the scoreline's going to be?
I'm going to go for a really fun 1-1 draw because I'm going to try and be less biased than I have been in the past.
Well done, Tizzard.
Well done.
Applause for that.
It's not exciting, is it? You're going to the game expecting a 1-1 draw. What's the point in going?
Okay. As Ollie was saying about our very high win road ratio, I'm going for a good 2-0 win.
2-0 win. Wow. Okay.
Bertrand goal as well.
Oh. Okay. Fair play.
He's my fantasy team.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I think Wolves will score, but I'm being slightly positive and hoping we can get a 2-1 win away. So I'm going to go 2-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Hopefully.
Oh.
I mean, a couple of goals in the sun, hopefully, in Wolverhampton. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And a Shenglong hat-trick wouldn't be too bad.
If you looked at the weather forecast.
No, I have not looked at the weather forecast.
Okay.
But
if you think there's sun in like the Midlands area, you're
that's
mistaken.
why I'm hoping for sun. Today was not sun.
Okay. Right, let's get off weather. So that's what we think about Wolves. Do you have a quick roundup of what happened in the international break? We didn't really have many players.
I'm just checking the weather forecast. So while I should do that,
okay. So
ready for
who
this?
played in international break? Højbjerg played. Bednarek.
Stuart Armstrong.
Yep.
Kevin Danso.
Yep.
That's it.
That is it. Armstrong scored a
beautiful free kick
against San Marino, was it? So
it's going to be raining, Tizzard.
Did you see the San Marino goalkeeper?
Is it really?
Can you guys actually see?
No, it doesn't look so. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be like 10, 11 degrees. It's going to be cold.
15,
Wind's not too high, though, so that's okay. But humidity's very high, so...
But did you see the San Marino goalkeeper that just picked up the ball outside the box? I mean, that's the kind of... I mean, it's...
No, right, let's be fair to him. He thought that it was a foul. He thought that it should have been a foul for his player, so he picked the ball up to go and throw it back to him. That's the reason why he picked the ball up. He didn't pick it up because he didn't know the rules.
Okay. Yeah, but I still thought it was pretty funny. But, I mean, it was a class free kick by Stuart Armstrong, but...
Wait, I'm a bit confused. What happened?
He just picked there's a goalkeeper who picked up the ball outside the box. Was that the free kick for Armstrong?
That's what I was thinking.
That was Armstrong's free kick.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Look this up.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a really good free kick, but then again, it probably wasn't against the best.
Yeah, but it was top.
Yeah, but any free kick's a good free kick.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I won't take it away. It was a good free kick, and it did send Saints to a mental because now everyone wants to see Armstrong playing because he scored a free kick. Which, yeah. I think I said, didn't I say something stupid like Armstrong was going to be our best player by the end of the season? Was that?
Yeah. You said that at the end of season awards last year.
Yeah, I did.
There's still time.
There is still time.
No, if anything,
time is running out.
But so yeah, for my sake, for my
8 games in.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll come good. That can be my redemption.
To be fair, with the patience of most Southampton supporters, its time's already up.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh, it's frozen. There we go. Back.
Hey! Fantastic.
Oh, you went super speed, mate.
Wait, did you not hear anything I said there?
But Ollie's recording.
No.
Guys, listen to this. Ollie's recording this, so who knows what he just saw there.
Yeah.
We're the ones being weird.
Yeah, so that froze. So it said my point, and you guys were all just blank faced, which is kind of what it's like, I guess. But hey, right.
What you mean?
Ollie, it's not our point.
I think that's the
point.
One of the first pieces of
I've got to
this
edit this
season. This is
right.
Højbjerg.
Okay, so how did Højbjerg?
Don't know.
No, yeah, I don't really know either. How did they do?
Kasper Schmeichel had quite a few
Oh,
good performances.
Yeah, I take
with
that back. I
Denmark.
did watch it. Yeah, he had a sick game. Højbjerg didn't really
nice.
do much impact, to be honest with you, but Kasper Schmeichel, unbelievable saves.
Well, okay, fair.
There's a big cheer from the Danish crowd when he came on though. When
What?
Højbjerg, yeah, because I think he came on I'm pretty sure he came on as a sub, and he must have done well because they scored late on. I don't think he had any impact in the goal, but you know.
I think Yoshida played twice for Japan as well, and Danso got.
A beast.
Danso, we already kind of covered that at the start, didn't we? Too.
Jamie thinks he's so good he wants to drop him for the next game.
Yeah, and then Danso had a. How would you describe it, Harry?
Mixed events, because he won 3-0 against Turkey, I believe, and then he got smashed to pieces 5-1 by England. The Stadium MK is actually a really nice stadium. It's really sad that it's a League One stadium.
Yeah,
because it's really nice.
I actually know about that because my career mode was with NK Dons for 6 seasons.
Right, okay.
As you all know.
So is that all the international break to sum up then? Is there anything else?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's been anyone else.
Anything happen with Bednarak?
Poland qualified for Euros in there.
Oh, okay, nice. Awesome.
So he's going to be somewhere across Europe next summer.
I think they kept 5 clean sheets out of 6. So I saw something on that on the Twitter.
Yeah.
And he apparently he's been one of Poland's best players, so it's good to see.
That's quite good.
Yeah, Ralph was talking about
Better
that.
than Lewandowski?
One of Poland's best players.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Ralph was talking about how the international break's been good for confidence for players coming back. None of them have been injured. A little injury update as well. Okay, yeah. Well, apart from that, apparently injury update. Apparently Musa should be back for the Man City game. Now I don't know whether that'll be the Cup one or the League one. So
I wouldn't have thought you'd play him in the Cup.
No, but I guess it would be the League One. So what's that? 3 weeks time, I think.
Yeah.
So, but there was a video on Cedric's Instagram that had him jogging, and apparently Musa can now he's running, he's sprinting.
Wasn't that with?
He's passing.
She was in the video in that one.
I think it was Cedric.
There was 3 players, but I could only see
I can't remember who the last one was.
Yeah, I wasn't sure the last one.
But yeah, Ralph was talking about in an interview that he's running, he can jog, he can pass, but they haven't been doing his shooting yet because, as Mikey, the football scientist, will tell us, it's I don't know. But what's the implication of shooting, Mikey?
I think
it hurts.
Is it more?
Fantastic.
Okay.
No, there's a greater risk of
risk
of tears and stuff like that.
Yeah. In the video, it is Will Smallbone and Musa Gineppo.
Okay, there we go. Nice. Yeah.
So
I guess the shooting's
I wasn't
more.
aware Smallbone was injured, but there you go.
The quote that has come out of Ralph Hasenhüttl talking about Gineppo's injury is, "The grass doesn't grow quicker when you pull on the grass, so we must wait."
Right, okay.
Wise words from the Austrian.
Okay. Well, that makes
I love a good
bit of
quote.
sense.
I must say.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that was injuries. Is there anything else you guys want to cover, or are you happy to?
I'd say the fantasy league, but there's just because it's been an international break. It's been like 2 weeks since the game, so I'd rather we just recap it next week.
None of my players got points, which is ridiculous.
Fantastic.
I made one transfer. If you guys want, if you're interested,
I put in Ryan Bircham for Cedric.
I got in Pereira for Zinchenko because he's starting to be dropped in the Man City team. So I thought I'd get Pereira. They've got a pretty decent lineup as well. They've got about nine green fixtures in their next 10 games. So I thought I'd get him in. So because he's quite an attacking wing back as well, isn't he? So.
Talking about Zinchenko, did you see his reaction when Ukraine qualified for Euros?
I didn't know, but
it was fantastic.
It was interesting.
No, I didn't quite see it.
He's loving life.
He's had a good time, yeah.
Wow. Why wouldn't
It's not been a couple of 2 years for Zinchenko, has it? Done alright for himself.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Okay. Anything else about fantasy, or are you guys kind of? Cause
I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything.
Who are you guys captaining for the weekend?
Oh,
even looks.
I've done a very bold move.
Go on then.
I've
Go on,
triple captain Abraham against Newcastle.
Fair play.
After Newcastle just beat United 1-0, are you sure about that, mate?
Yes, I am very. As I said, Mikey, it's a very brave move.
Fair play.
No, be brave with triple captain.
I'm already losing as it is. I thought, you know what?
Go for it.
Why not?
I'm debating whether to do Sterling away because I don't know if he plays that well away, or Aubameyang at Sheffield United. I don't know. They're two quite good fixtures there. Although I reckon Liverpool could do quite good to the Man United.
He's frozen again, boys.
Oh dear. The thing is, we're frozen for him, and he's frozen for us.
No, I see you guys. Did you not hear me?
No.
No, you froze.
You just
Right,
froze.
okay. Shall I quickly recap or?
That's alright.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Alright, fine. Okay. So
dear.
should we leave it there then? Is there anything else to report, or you guys?
Can't think of anything really.
Mikey, anything?
No.
No. Okay, cool. Right, we'll wrap it up there then.
Thanks for listening, everyone. It's been a
Yeah, thanks for listening. Just quickly talk about the socials, Harry. How can they get in touch?
At SaintsPrime on the Instagram, we'll put out a poll or a question poll. So you put your questions, we'll answer every single one as long as they're PG. And SaintsPrime Pod on Twitter as well.
Yeah, you'll get the alerts. I'll try and put a little bit more on there because normally it's just when the podcasts are released, but we can try and get a bit more on there and branch out a little bit more if you guys want to see that. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything. So it's been me, Ollie.
Harry.
Jambo.
Mikey.
Okay, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
All right. Oh, what was that? Bye.